Thank you, dear moderator, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start by thanking you for giving me this opportunity. How did we break the mold, and how did we break through the traditional society's rules? I should like to start from myself that I was an early entrepreneur. At the age of 20, I started my first business. But I was coming from a family that I've seen a working mother, and I was well educated and I had international experience. But between the age of 20 to 30, in those 10 years, I had all the experience that I could have in business atmosphere. Let it be black swan, let it be ceilings, glass walls, and how to go by to exist and survive in the menswear society for the years 70s, 80s. So I just said to myself, when I established my own company, I just said that, well, things have to be so different, and it has to be like beyond the dreams of anybody, that none of the people working in the company, and especially women, should have to go through what I went through in my own experience. So that the philosophy is born on its pillars by this wish. And number one pillar of the philosophy is that it's enough, being human is enough to be equal. We don't have any segregation, we don't have any discrimination in our company. Let it be gender equality is a natural, integral part of it. The second one, the pillar is, I always believed that it is the entrepreneurial's responsibility to establish a decent working place atmosphere and to really even train its people, give them what they want, before you can ask them to give their full commitment into the company. So that's the second pillar. The third one is that it's also a contradictory maybe to one of the most believed principles, that I don't believe that entrepreneurs, managers, and working people are contradicting to each other and they are conflicted parties. On the contrary, I believe that it's like a circle hand in hand. They work together for the same cause as to make their company optimum profitable, and yet the company atmosphere has to be a place worth living with and humanely living with. So how do you go by sharing it? So since 17 years, to back this principle, we have profit-sharing system in our company that quarterly we are distributing profits to our working people. Anybody enrolled in the payroll is entitled to that. But then, if you have such a company, how are you going to manage it? So comes two more pillars, the one being non-hierarchical management system. We don't have hierarchy, but we have teams working together, and a free voice speaking atmosphere that all the management decisions, let it be financial and social, is taken by the people themselves. So it's been over 16, 17 years, but since the establishment, that all these sustainable goals have been encrusted in our companies, then you can say, what kind of a result you are having in such an atmosphere. But as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, I can say that we're working in a very highly competitive industry, and there I can always bet that we would be, the profit and return on investment would be much higher than any of our competitors to speak with. So when we have been recognized by WEPs in 2013 as an exemplary company, that had a very big impact in our country and also in the business environment. That was, let me give you this example from, again, our clothing fashion industry. Something is becoming a fashion a trend, a philosophy, is becoming a fashion. When people really strongly believe in it, they want to be part of it, and they really support it all together, then it spreads. And I think ourselves, being a WEPs awarded company, started the niche, and then now WEPs principles in the business community should become the fashion of the future and the main trend everywhere in the world, not just in our country, but everywhere, so that we can really make the world, first our own companies, then our community, then the world being a much more livable and breathly place to live in. So I have been appointed as the spokesperson for 2 years for the business world for WEPs. So I would speak out loud and try to convince in each and every country and business and industry to say that if you are going by the WEPs principles in your company and in your system, that would be really for a better world and for a better environment. And let's work for it together to make it happen. My last word would be, I wouldn't really stop myself for not making this statement that lately and recently our world is getting really every day in a much more war state, and really international terrorism is affecting us all. And I would like that woman voice to be heard all over by the politicians, even though it's not our ground, that they should take the example and really stop that for us to really be in a different world. And thank you for giving me the panel. Thank you.